So, Jack, we are going to the final Trump campaign rally.
All right.
And it's Monday, November the 7th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, November the 8th, Election Day. So, there's not going to be any more Trump campaign rallies after today. And I imagine people are going to get pretty riled up, and that he's going to be pretty riled up. How do you feel going to this?
It's exciting. It'll be a little slice of history, you can say you were part of the last presidential race of the United States.
So you guys are out here. Are you college students?
I go to MCC. Zoe goes to MCC.
So you're out in front of a Donald Trump rally protesting. Why are you protesting?
We are protesting because I don't want a whole bunch of white old men in the White House and in Congress telling me what I can and can't do with my body. It's my body and it's my choice. That's the bottom line, and that's all I care about. Trump says so many degrading things about women and thinks that pregnancy leave or maternity leave is an inconvenience for businesses, and that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And maternity leave is too short as it is. It's proven that babies need so much time with their mothers and they don't get that.
Why are you guys out here?
I'm out here because I can't support a candidate who thinks that dividing people makes America strong, because diversity makes America strong. That's what America is built on, is accepting people, and I can't accept the fact that people are going to support a candidate who thinks that blaming Muslims or Mexicans or any other group of people will make anything better, because the only way to make America great again is to make America diverse and to uphold diversity, because that's what's always made America great, is the melting pot and all the people that can come here and can live and can exchange ideas.
So why do you guys think that all these people are going to this Donald Trump rally?
I think people are very uneducated nowadays, or people just don't care. People think we're being too sensitive, but what does that mean? That doesn't mean you can still be racist or xenophobic or homophobic. Some things, are too sensitive, but other than that, there's some serious racism and phobia happening in America right now, and xenophobia and sexism that nobody is recognizing, and it's ridiculous. They think that women have all the rights we need, and that's not true. And just you know what I'm saying, Johnny? Anything you want to add on this?
Yeah, I believe the people that are here to support Donald Trump is because of what they do not like to hear about Hillary, about how she has killed soldiers, especially in Benghazi, the situation. And also because they are mainly focused in one subject. So they are always focused on one thing that Donald Trump supports. And mainly here is gun control. A lot of that, those people do support that. And many as well support what they actually, what little things he said. It's just different topics, different areas in politics that these people go for, and they don't just see the overall population, they see what they think should be right for themselves.
Makes sense. All right, well, I have to go in, guys. Sorry.
If you go out in New Hampshire, a state that could well decide this election, make no mistake about it.
Could tie the election.
I mean, this race is on.
It's gonna go.
We're leading one national people of New Hampshire.
It's funny you say that, because the walker reminded me of a wrestling ramp.
That's the first thing that.
It's 1989 WCW.
Fucking strobe lights and then the sparklers are gonna come up.
And I'll make you
Hey, Stone Cold and Trump are friends.
I'm sure they are.
They shaved Vince McMahon's head.
You do everything you can do.
Shotgun the beer together.
That man is ready. This team is ready. This movement is obviously ready. If you go out and make sure that New Hampshire is ready, we will elect Donald Trump as the 45th president of the United States of America. Make America great again. Let's go get it down, New Hampshire.
I like to think Hillary. Reminds you of the Indiana cornfields. Farm country. Oh, like lasers. Lasers coming out.
Good presidential candidate who will make a great president. Who does he pick for vice president? Did he make a great pick for vice president? Tremendous experience in Congress, understands foreign policy, understands the budget, a great governor of the state of Indiana, and the next Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence.
Why is he coming back out?
I don't know. He's jogging though. You gotta give him that. Got some pep in his step.
What is going on?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't him before.
America's mayor, everybody.
You just stuck in a time warp?
The time has come. And it is my high honor.
Oh, here we go. Set him up.
And distinct privilege to introduce to all of you here in the great state of New Hampshire the next President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Thank you very much.
Wow, he's got the whole fucking crew there.
Yeah.
Whole entourage.
And picking Governor Mike Pence.
I would have preferred Hulk Hogan, but whatever.
Also, my family was here. I said, come on. My children were here.
Come on.
And I just Tiffany, Jared, Ivanka.
And I know tomorrow will be another great day. And then he will get to the real work of making this country great, of working for you, the American people, and he will never, ever let you down. Thank you.
It's like Bud Light. He won't throw you up and never lets you down.
So again, go and enjoy it. Let's go.
Also like Rick Astley.
Thank you very much. Well, you know, we said we want to finish off in New Hampshire because of the incredible relationship I have. But who would have expected this, right? Who would have expected? So, a couple of things. Two people I have a lot of respect for, really like as people, incredible people. And because they're so important to the area, I thought I would give you this information. They've told me I can do it. So I will do it. Tom Brady. He said, I support you, you're my friend, and I voted for you. And I'm going to tell you, this guy is a champ, and he's a winner, and he is a great person. So I said, so Tom, you voted for me, you support me. Am I allowed to say it tonight to this massive crowd in New Hampshire? He said, if you want to say it, you can say it. Okay? That's what I changed. And another person, very close to Tom, actually, for a lot of reasons you'll understand himself. I have unbelievable respect for him. Champion in every way. And I was in the plane and they handed me a letter, and it was from Coach Belichick. He wrote me the most beautiful letter, and it was only 2 hours ago. So we called back, we said, do you think that Mr. Trump could read that letter to the people of New Hampshire? And he said, absolutely, if you'd like. He said, but do me a favor, don't read that letter. Let me send one that's a little bit different. So I figured he was going to take all the good things out, right? Like most gutless people do. Gutless. But he's the opposite. He's a champ. So he sent me the new letter, and it was much better. It was stronger. This guy's a true champ. So he writes, Coach Belichick, congratulations on a tremendous campaign. You have dealt with an unbelievable slanted and negative media and have come out beautifully. You've proved to be the ultimate competitor and fighter. Your leadership is amazing. I have always had tremendous respect for you, but the toughness and perseverance you have displayed over the past year is remarkable. Hopefully tomorrow's election results will give the opportunity to make America great again.
Like Urkel and Did I Do That? They're like, he just says it and people freak out, you know?
Bill Belichick. So
Greatness is good.
tomorrow, there is one fundamental question for you to consider. Do you want America to be ruled by the corrupt political class? Or do you want America to be ruled again by the people?
Yeah! How about no masters, no slaves? Yeah! No? USA! 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 USA!
I am asking for the votes of all Americans. Democrats, Republicans, independent, first-time voters, and there are a lot of those first-time voters, folks, who are so desperately in need of change.
Spare change?
Can you imagine having Hillary Clinton for 4 years?
We won't make it that far. We get
Clinton's
nuked.
only allegiance is to herself, her donors, and her special interests.
And Saudi Arabia!
My only special interest is to you. That's what I'm doing.
I like the man who has a special interest in me.
The corrupt special interests have stolen your jobs and shipped your wealth to other countries. They've betrayed the working class of this country. Tomorrow, the American working class will strike back. It's about time. Real change also means restoring honesty to government. Let's start by getting rid of Clinton.
Yeah! Send her back to the center of the earth!
At the core of my contract is my plan to bring our jobs back.
Yay! Case of the Mondays!
Manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. A disaster. A deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported by his lovely wife, Hillary. Amazingly, America has lost, listen to this, 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization. Another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster.
Ooh, I
We
love
are living
factories.
through the single greatest jobs theft In the history of the world, there's never been anything like this. The Trump administration will stop the jobs from leaving America, and we will stop the jobs from leaving New Hampshire. Believe me.
Yeah! Woo! Factories! Let's make the Merrimack great again!
If a company wants to fire their workers, leave New Hampshire, and move to another country,
we'll execute,
and then ship their products back into the United States through what will soon be a very, very strong and powerful border.
Throbbing border. Well, securing that Canadian border is going to be a hell of a job. It's like 4,500 miles wide or something. Build two walls! Build two walls!
He just splashed water all over the crowd.
That was awesome. He's like Ozzy.
35% tax.
That fucking kid in the red tie just splashed water out.
Well, it's a selfie picture. He like threw water on it.
They're never leaving. They're staying. They're staying. We will renegotiate that. Stand up to China and stop the job-killing Trans-Pacific. Because the inner cities, in so many cases, are like living in hell.
Yeah!
Crime is rampant, horrible.
Just like in
You can't
Manchester.
walk to a store without getting shot. Schools are terrible, as bad as it gets.
It reminded me of the
And
beginning
there
of
are no
Cobra.
jobs.
There's a murder
We're
in
going to bring back
26
the jobs.
seconds.
We're going to fix the schools and make them to and we're going to make the inner city safe. We're going to make them safe.
Cops! License and registration.
The trees, the winding roads, the lakes, the rivers, the whole thing. The little streams. So I'd meet with people and I'd say, what's your biggest problem? And they'd say, heroin. I'd say, heroin. It made such an impact because it just doesn't seem to work with the beauty of your area. Yeah! But I said we would stop it, we will stop it. Is there any place better than a Trump rally to be?
No!
About New Hampshire, I've never disappointed New Hampshire, but New Hampshire has never disappointed me.
All right, that's good. Yeah.
Remember the primary?
I'll say I've never disappointed.
They said Donald Trump. You know the phony polls. These people play it.
Wait.
They said Donald Trump may not win New Hampshire. I said that's surprising. I think I'm going to win. And then we won by 18 points.
There's totally not a script for this. This is just fucking
he's
rambling.
doing it. Yeah, he's doing it. That's why he's the best. You know, Clinton would have been staring at those fucking screens.
Right next door.
They're not even on.
In Massachusetts, where they're represented. Tom Brady. By the way, is there a better reference than Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Whoa!
I don't think so. You know, in Massachusetts, we had, 14 people left? They go like this, boom, boom, boom. I think we had 14 people left. We got 49.5% of the vote. Clinton thinks he's doing herself a favor to use this woman as a senator. Everybody that watches him, they say, she is a terrible human being. I don't know who's going to challenge her, but whoever does, you know, I hear a very great baseball pitcher's mentioned.
Oh, Kurt Schilling.
He's a great, and you know what? He's a great guy. I don't know who's going to do it, but he's a great guy.
Hey, bankrupted Rhode Island.
But Elizabeth Warren is terrible. And you know what? She's a terrible, let me tell you, she's a terrible senator. Take a look at what she's passed. Nothing. And in the Senate, everybody hates her. They don't want to even deal with her. Because with your vote, we are just one day away from the change you've been waiting for your entire life. For all of the people in all of our cities and towns, I say these words to you tonight. I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you.
got to play We Are the Champions after that, right?
It's going to be that same entrance song.
We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America
great again.
Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
Sorry, you don't think he's corrupt?
Like our current administration and the past.
Okay.
We want to get rid of the corruption in government.
So you're sick of the corruption, and that's why you're voting for Donald Trump?
Sick of the corruption, absolutely.
So why do you think people are supporting Hillary Clinton?
I have no idea.
Uneducated, or getting free handouts. Think about it. I want to go see James Taylor.
Okay.
For free. All right?
Or they're dead.
Go see James Taylor. And, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I can see Miley Cyrus. And then they're going to talk me to going across the street and voting early. It's all because they're not in tune with current events.
Are you more motivated by Donald Trump, or are you more motivated because you think the system is corrupt and you think the Clintons epitomize that?
Well, it's the both. It's both, because Donald Trump is the guy that's going to go in there and kick over the money changer tables. And Donald Trump gave us his reason. See, motive is the crux of it all. Okay? Donald Trump told us in the beginning, and I'm glad that he's reiterating his original reason, which is why he knows the system's corrupt. He has benefited because of this corrupt system, and he's admitted to that, okay? And he wants to bust it up because it is that corrupt. In other words, who wants to be the captain of a ship that's being sunk?
Why do you think people are supporting Hillary Clinton still?
Denial, in a word. They just don't want to believe the fact that they're a part of an evil enterprise, because all the people around her, my mother used to say, show me who you go with, they'll tell you who you are. And all her friends are mobsters or dead, okay? She has nothing that she's ever actually accomplished in her entire life. All she's done is live off the fat of the government. And
do you think he said really make an impact on you, or do you think anything he said was weird or anything?
Well, the comedy routine was kind of fun. But yeah, it's just mostly like, boilerplate kind of stuff. That's why I asked you during the rally. I'm like, whose mind is this supposed to change? But it's supposed to just drum up the bass.
Is there really Trump soda?
Really Trump soda?
How?
Populous punch.
Jack, you're here again, and Rob is now joining us. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how's it going?
And we are at a bar in Glastonbury, Connecticut that we figured would be a good mixture of Trump and Clinton supporters. I guess we were disagreeing on if that's what it is or not. I think it is.
I don't know, man. Sports bar seems to just scream Trump. Looking around.
Jack, you still think this is going to be a Trump landslide tonight, or are you more pensive now?
No, I think like all these sort of contested states is just gonna trounce her, and it's gonna be a lot worse for Clinton. The pundits tend to concentrate on who actually votes during most normal years.
Yeah.
But that's only 40% or maybe 35% of the people who are eligible to. But it's like the Joe Prisklowskis in Allentown, are they gonna vote for an Obama or a Romney? Probably not. But will they vote for a Trump? Fuck yeah.
That's true.
Right, it is 7:30 at the Diamond Pub in Glastonbury. Which means it is trivia time.
I'm just wondering if you in running for president, have any specific monetary policy.
At this point, no.
So another topic that I'm really interested to touch on is monetary policy, specifically having a central bank who controls interest rates and controls the issuing of currency and has a monopoly on the issuing of currency. It's an issue that was a lot more important looking back to the founding fathers with the disputes between Jefferson and Hamilton and what Andrew Jackson later did under his presidency. So do you have a monetary policy, or do you have an opinion on if there should be a Federal Reserve and what its role should be?
Well, I have limited opinions on that. It's
a subject I'm really interested in is monetary policy. Do you have any position in terms of monetary policy or the Federal Reserve?
Well, I've heard a lot of bad things about the Federal Reserve not being a part of the government, or I don't know enough about the Federal Reserve to comment at this point.
What is your monetary policy? How should money be regulated or created, and what is your stance on the Federal Reserve?
Well, the Federal, Reserve, is created to really make sure that any of the banks that are in trouble, like what happened in 2007, 2008, to make sure that those banks get bailed out. I mean, I'm not an economist.
I do not know if the Federal Reserve is something. I'm not 100%. I do not understand this subject in its entirety.
So again, I mean, just looking at your website, one thing that I really do agree with you on is abolishing the Federal Reserve. Could you just speak to why we should do that as a nation?
That's not a big issue with me, and I really don't understand the details of it. This is not one of my issues, and I don't understand it, and I shouldn't speak to it.
As far as the Fed is considered, it's worked for many years. I think it can be revised. I'm not an expert on economics, but you can be sure as president I will have the best people in this country to advise me on these things, and I need to learn more about that to make an intelligent decision.
We're going to the fucking eye of the storm here. We're in Hartford, walking into the Hilton. Yeah. There's weed everywhere. This whole nation's... Where's the thing? Excuse me, where's the Blumenthal event?
Third floor.
Third floor? Okay, thanks. It's the governor.
Excuse me.
Do you guys feel inspired right now? Listening to the governor speak?
Hey, you're listening to the future Secretary of Transportation.
I like how the fact they already called the election.
We
might have missed something.
Working on all the information that for the outages that we can. You should ask them about the outages.
Who supports our economy, who is arguing the case of consumers, so join with me again in thanking our United States Senator Dick Blumenthal.
Florida. Yeah, why do you call it for Clinton already?
Because he knows. Because he knows.
He's been appointed.
He knows. Come on.
Where'd he go?
Let's get in there.
Excuse us.
We're on official business. We have to listen.
Yep.
Such a weird election.
The governor's like right there. We're just thinking about like what to ask him.
Go talk to him, man. Ask him about the outages.
I just looked at him and gave him a chin nod. He looked right at me. I was like,
you see his fucking outfit?
What up, Dan?
He's wearing jeans and like cowboy boots, like snakeskin boots.
it's like something my dad would wear when he has to go to some kind of semi-formal function.
Bolo tie.
I like this guy behind us. The dude we came up in the elevator. He's wearing black leather gloves.
Proud to be Democrats tonight.
Yeah!
And the real winners tonight are the people of Connecticut.
Yes.
And one of the most remarkable things, and I think we have enough of the results now that we can say that we've returned our entire congressional delegation. I am the only thing standing between you and Senator Blumenthal and the United States.
Steve,
Dan Darso, nice to meet you.
That's me. Were you involved in the Bernie Sanders?
We were, yeah, I directed the grassroots here.
What a beautiful state.
That's right.
And what impressed me more today,
Bucolic.
as I went to the polling places,
at the end of a very venomous and mean and vitriolic time in our political history was the joy and pride of our people in voting. And
It's good.
President of the United States,
It was.
first
It's fucking
woman
that in the
president
mustard.
of the United States. And we will have a great America. We will have a great America. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me.
Death to Russia! Death to Russia!
Senator Murphy, I'm sorry. What would you say to millennials who are concerned about Hillary Clinton's foreign policy? You know, she has a record of supporting the invasion of Iraq, bombing Libya, bombing Syria. What would you say to those folks who do not support war?
I think Hillary Clinton, in many ways, is the originator of the idea of smart diplomacy, the idea that there are other ways to exercise American power abroad besides the use of military force. So I'm excited to have a president who is going to make the argument that we should plus up other tools beyond those just of military projection of force around the world.
What's your impression tonight? It's still, I guess, kind of tied. Like, it looks like Florida, North Carolina, New Hampshire. There's still
my impression. I'm somewhat depressed.
Really?
I'm somewhat depressed that so many people would actually vote for Donald Trump.
You were a Bernie Sanders supporter, though?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Does anything give you pause about Hillary Clinton, though?
Of course, there's lots of things that give me pause, but the idea is we have the most progressive Democratic platform that's ever been. And if we want to move it, we're not going to move it very far with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And if those are our choices, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, then it makes sense to me that Hillary Clinton is the way you got to go.
Something that makes me afraid is comparatively, Hillary Clinton is a lot more hawkish on Russia. And, they have the biggest nuclear arsenal besides the U.S. So, that's something that kind of scares me. Why is the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton getting so hawkish on Russia?
That's a good question. I don't know what that's all about. A lot of it is posturing and positioning. I don't know, but I'm not as. I would be much more concerned if it was Donald Trump dealing with Russia than somebody with the experience of Hillary. But we didn't have a lot of choice this year.
Yeah.
My candidate Bernie Sanders, he fought the fight, and then he was gone.
So is the plan of the Bernie Sanders movement to, once Hillary gets elected, oppose her on certain key issues?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to oppose her on a lot of issues. Yes.
So what would you say is the biggest one?
Well, I would. Our young Bernie Sanders people would say to me, "Well, I don't believe her that she's against the TPP." Well, neither do I. So you got to chill out. And then and when we were at the convention, one of our team asked Rosa DeLauro and asked her, "What do we do if Hillary decides that she wants to try to pass the TPP?" And we do what we always do, which is hold her feet to the fire. We create political action to move her. I mean, that's what you do, regardless of who it is who's going to be president. But the thing is that the thing about Hillary is she's signed on to it, so it's going to be much easier trying to move her than it's going to be than it would be trying to move somebody who's already dead set against it anyway.
Sure.
You follow suit? Because she has to play a political game. She can't just say, "Oh no, I'm for it now."
Why do you think that some people are supporting Donald Trump? What do you think is going through their minds when they cast that ballot?
Because they believe that it's an anti-establishment thing that's been going on. That's what got Bernie his votes, and that's what's getting Donald Trump his votes. And it's just a question that the people don't believe that these folks are. They believe these folks are so tied up in Wall Street and corporate America that they're not looking out for our interests. And however he did it, Donald Trump has convinced them that he will look out for their interests. which I don't understand because he's a billionaire a businessman, so I can't believe he would look out for anybody's interests other than his own.
Senator, I do a podcast called Primo, Nutmeg. I was wondering what you say to millennials who are concerned about Hillary Clinton's foreign policy. You know, she supported the invasion of Iraq, bombing Libya, bombing Syria. What would you say to millennials who are concerned about that?
I'm not going to be the pundit here who predicts what the outcome is of the presidential election. But we need a strong national defense, and we need to fight ISIS. But at the same time, make sure we keep our troops out of harm's way. I have 2 sons who have served. One is deployed right now. So I feel personally that I have a stake in making sure that we avoid any foreign military engagements that are unnecessary.
I do a podcast called Primo Nutmeg, covers Connecticut news and politics. Okay. I'm just wondering if you could speak to how do we get rid of the crime, the gangs that are in Hartford?
There are a lot of different things that we have to do that we are doing. One of the things we have to do is make sure that we're rebuilding our police force. You know, our police force is down from about 500 officers to about 380. That makes it hard to do the kind of proactive community policing that's a really important part of keeping our streets safe and neighborhoods strong. So we're in the process of recruiting, even as we have a lot of officers who are reaching retirement. But there are a lot of other pieces of it. You know, and one of the most important things I think we can do is to promote youth employment and youth employment opportunities that haven't been there for a while. So we've been working both in partnership with the federal government and through some private fundraising efforts to bring funds in that allow us to put young kids between the ages of 16 to 24 to work year-round, part-time, give them an opportunity to make a real, earn a paycheck, and also get that sense of purpose that comes with having some meaningful employment. And a third part of it is actually an anti-blight initiative. You know, I think part of what can feed crime is a sense that neighborhoods aren't well cared for, and so we've been able to get some significant amount of state funding to seed an anti-blight effort, and also use some federal grant funding to bring in an anti-blight director who's been working on blight efforts in New Orleans and Detroit and Flint, Michigan for the last 10 years. So those are a few of the things. There's a lot of things that again, I mean, public safety isn't one-dimensional. There's a lot of different things that have to be done. But I will say, and it's important to say, what we're contending with is the national heroin epidemic. And Hartford, like many cities like Hartford, is an epicenter for the heroin trade. We have a lot of folks who come in from the suburbs to purchase heroin, as well as residents who are users too, and that has been one of the drivers of the crime challenge that we're dealing with right now.
It's 12:37 a.m. and it seems like Donald Trump is winning, but we're not certain yet. Jack, do you have any thoughts at this point in time? Like, what is it like when Donald Trump may be the next president?
Well, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Are you surprised? Like, this seems like a really shocking turn of events.
Well, for people who listen to the assholes on the mainstream media and their own fucking confirmation bias nonsense, sure. I'm sure it was a shock for them, but for me, I've been calling it since when? Right? Fucking when? You know, you tell me, Steve. I've been on the podcast enough times talking about it. Trump's going to whip him because he was able to motivate that silent base that doesn't even vote half the time. You know, the disenfranchised, angry white guy, scared white guy, right? That was the term I was using.
When we try to go back and explain what happened, is that we all got it wrong. We all got it wrong, and we all got it wrong.
When you look at this past political cycle, you think of Donald Trump and what he's accomplished. He crushed not just one, 2 political dynasties in the Bush family, and now the Clintons.
This was a rebellion against the elites. True, it was a complete reinvention of politics and polls, it's true. But it was also something else. We've talked about race. I mean, we've talked about everything but race tonight. We've talked about income. We've talked about class. We've talked about region. We haven't talked about race. This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes.
Insiders feared a narrow loss in Florida and the collapse of their electoral college strategy. But Trump galvanized rural and working class voters there, while similar turnout also delivered North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Winning Wisconsin, a Democratic state in every election since 1984, was the icing on the same demographic cake. And GOP pollster David Winston.
He overperformed with union households. He overperformed with lower income. He also overperformed with those folks with some college, which made up about a third of the electorate. He did quite well.
Russia's enthusiasm for Donald Trump's win was on show at watch parties all over Moscow.
This is the victory that the American people brought to the whole world.
At the Kremlin, President Putin said Trump's victory was a chance to repair relations with America. It's not our fault they're in such poor shape, he said, but Russia is ready to restore them.
Trump won men 53 to 41, but he also won white women by a similar margin. His greatest strength came from whites without a college degree. He had nearly a 40-point edge among those voters. At the same time, Clinton underperformed with three key groups in the Democratic coalition. She won 55% of young voters, but Mr. Obama took 60% 4 years ago. She won 88% of the African-American vote. President Obama had 93% in 2012. Even with the Hispanic vote, where early voting suggested new strength for Clinton, she polled only 65%. Mr. Obama polled 6 points higher. In the end, Republicans came home. Democrats, it seems, stayed home.
I love this country. Thank you very much.